Hello, my name's Mike Harris. I'm editor of Golf Monthly, and I'm joined today by my two fellow Top 100 course senior panellists. To my left, Rob Smith. He's played all of the Top 100 courses and over 1,000 golf courses worldwide. To his left, Jeremy Ellwood. Again, he's played all of the Top 100 courses. And how many worldwide for you, Jez?
Well, I played my 800th course only yesterday.
Oh my goodness, so that's a fairly impressive achievement. I'm down, I don't keep an exact number, I'm down in the 400s somewhere, and of the top 100, I've played 82. One of the big top 100 debates is always around links courses versus inland courses. Links do tend to dominate our list of the top 100, of the top 10. All bar Sunningdale are links courses, and I think if you look all the way down the list, links tends to be very, very strong. I don't know the exact split. One of these guys who really keep the numbers on everything hopefully will do. But certainly it's always an interesting debate of whether you prefer a links course or an inland course. Rob, tell us a little bit about what you feel are the key differences between the different styles.
Well, it's interesting. I think that the game evolved on the links. That's where it started. That's where our roots are. And if you talk to almost any Category 1 golfer, he will say, "Oh, links is where my heart is," which is fair enough. I'd like to think my heart is in all of them because I'm that wishy-washy that I love all golf. But it started on the links. They are elemental, natural golf courses where it's all about skill and, to a certain degree, a bit of luck too, because the wind is going to be a bigger factor there than anywhere else. They are a completely different breed. Look at the top tennis players; they will play on grass or clay or whatever, and different players will react differently to those. The Americans coming over to play in the Open here sometimes experience something they've not really experienced before, and actually some of them cope with it incredibly well as well. They are, to me, different beasts. I don't know about you, Jez, but I think they really are very different styles.
They are. I would say one of the questions I get asked most when talking about golf courses is, what's your favourite course?
Yeah.
Which is a difficult question to answer.
And what's the answer?
Well, the answer I often say is, well, it would be a links somewhere.
Yeah.
Because that's where my playing golf by the sea is where it's at for me. I can't always pin it down to exactly one course, but that is, I just have a preference for golf by the sea. I think it's the drama of the setting. As you say, you're not playing well, gaze out to sea, and it doesn't seem quite so bad. Sometimes on a tree-lined course, you're not playing well, and you just think, well, next shot's going in the trees, next shot's going in the trees, and it's a never-ending battle against a course when you're not playing well. Whereas on the links, I feel you've got a little bit more to enjoy in terms of views if you're not playing well.
And I think perhaps there's a bit more variety in the type of shots you can play as well. It's not, there's not just one way to play a links golf course. You can either, play it through the air, or most links courses you can play it along the ground. So, those sort of bump and run shots to open greens that on an inland course, chances are, you'd be less likely to play, and more likely to be fronted by a bunker or water hazard that obviously you've got to sort of play, sort of up and over. And I think when it comes to links as well, of course, you really feel, I guess, at one with nature, or you're more likely to feel at one with nature. You've got, as Rob said, the elements there, whether it's, the sort of big open, skies or, wind. I was at Rollport Rush a couple of weeks ago, and it really was incredibly windy, but it made for the experience. And perhaps you don't necessarily get that inland. But Rob, one of the things we talk about sort of between links and inland is that inland is often more playable for a wider variety of golfers because, as I say, if the wind does get up, if you're links course, if you're playing on very tight fairways, it can rather expose your ball striking, kind of, and then is it as much fun to be constantly topping balls because you can't feel you can't strike it off the firm lies, tight lies, or balls get up in the air and then they're sort of blown off by the wind. The inland tends to be a little bit more user friendly.
Oh, I'd say it's far more forgiving generally, definitely. But you have lusher lies, you have softer landing areas, and so on. I think that many handicap golfers going to links courses, particularly if they've not been before, will really struggle because it's such a different experience in terms of how the ball behaves. I think you are protected inland by the trees as much as anything, and the elevation changes, which also is one of the other important things I mentioned, that you will probably get probably get better views inland of golf courses and golf holes than you do at links. Links courses, by their very nature, tend to be fairly flat. We have some exceptions, but they're fairly flat. You've got cliff tops, but our classic links are fairly flat with perhaps big dunes around them. Whereas inland, you can actually have holes with incredible elevated tees and terrific views, which you don't get at the seaside. So if you were to be a non-golfer walking around a golf course and went to a lovely parkland course, elevated parkland course, or a links, I can see why many people would prefer the idea of a parkland course, because it is just naturally more pretty and better from a photographic point of view.
And it's interesting, Jez, isn't it, that differentiation when you come inland, that there are, of course, the natural heathland courses. We all think of that Surrey, Berkshire sandbelt. We're at Hankley Common today, an absolutely classic inland heather-lined course. But of course, there are also parkland courses as well. There are not so many of them in our top 100, but that's a really interesting, differentiation between two types of inland courses.
They are very different, aren't they? Parkland courses and heathland courses have some characteristics of links courses, don't they? Quite often.
Yeah.
The nature of the terrain they're on means they will react the same to weather conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So when links courses are going brown in the summer, like we've just had, so are a lot of heathland courses, and you can end up playing a heathland course. I mean, some of them refer to themselves as inland links, don't they? Which is probably a bit of a misnomer, but there is some truth in that, and a lot of them have tried to create bunker styling more akin to that of a links course than a parkland course. Again, if you had a choice between the two, put me on a heathland course rather than a parkland course. I played the Berkshire on Tuesday. And I think this time of year when the light's right and you get the light shining through the pines, light and shade on the course, they really are pictures, as hopefully you will see in our top 100 coverage.
Most definitely. But when you look at modern inland courses, the presentation is often of the very, very highest order, isn't it? It's sort of, courses that have perhaps been built in the last, talking about inland courses have been built in the last, sort of 10 years, that obviously they've taken advantage of modern golf course design, and often they've got, big greenkeeping teams, a lot of very fancy machinery, and they are presented in absolutely fantastic condition. And there's something to be very much enjoyed by that, absolutely pristine presentation, isn't there, Rob?
Oh, there is, absolutely. Both visually and from a playing point of view, you can trust what you get, what you deserve, really. Where you hit the ball and the conditions there, you can trust them. So you will get more uniformity inland than at the seaside, definitely, because it's easier to control the environment that you're working on. And actually, that's a very important point to make about presentation and course conditioning too. That in the last 20 years is improved everywhere. By an enormous amount. I used to go to courses 20, 30 years ago, and even some of the big courses, you get iffy greens, you get really dodgy fairways. This just doesn't seem to happen anymore. It's because our greenkeeping skills and the teams, all credit to them, have improved enormously, as have the techniques, the technology, and the chemicals they use have improved enormously. So conditioning has improved uniformly. So we now go to courses and we're lucky, we expect, and all golfers are lucky, we expect and very often do get them in absolutely fantastic condition. I think you're more likely to get better conditions inland, probably, but the other thing is it's more seasonal inland too. You can play links course, and that's one of the great joys of links golf, in January, in a freezing cold January, and it's still an absolute delight. You can go to some of our parkland courses and they look, to be honest, a little bit drab and bleak in the winter. It's still great to be out, obviously, but they're not going to be looking their best. No,
that's very true. And one of the interesting things, Jez, that we've seen perhaps in the last 2 or 3 sets of rankings is how inland courses, and particularly those heathland courses, have done a lot of work taking out trees, returning it, growing heather, really returning it to its original roots. And that's been really interesting to see, and I think has been behind some of the rises that we've seen in some of the inland courses.
Yeah, that's definitely been a trend, and a good trend, because a lot of these courses, you go to them and they'll say, come and look at this picture of the course in the 1920s. There isn't a tree in sight. And it was just pure heathland, and gradually over time, whether deliberately or just nature taking its course, trees have grown up, and they've suddenly realised, hang about, A, it's not helping the playing conditions, and B, if we take those trees out, you get this vista. And I've played at courses where they've done the clearing work, and suddenly you can see where you are on the course. and it's a matter of, you know, this. Oh, I see. This hole is actually
Yeah.
running along in relation to that one that way, and you, with all the trees there, you just don't get that.
And I think it can be a very, very big change. I mean, I think probably you look at, say, some of the, you know, the Surrey Sandbelt courses, someone like Worplesdon's done a lot of work there. For me, the most striking one I've been to in terms of sort of before and after is Moortown up in Leeds. That if you look at the pictures from, I think it's, you know, sort of the 80s and the 90s, they were sort of tree-lined holes. You almost played in splendid isolation, and there'll be a lot of golfers who quite like playing in isolation, one hole. You don't feel like, you know, you're out there with lots of people. It's almost like your golf course. But you look at how it is now, the level of tree clearance they've got. As you say, all these vistas are opened up. Not everybody likes it. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but undoubtedly that is how the golf courses were originally designed, and it's, you know, fascinating to see. I mean, we say we're at Hankley today, huge big open expanses of heathland. It's, you know, a really tranquil setting. You feel like you're very much at one with nature, and I guess it's sort of taking those heathland courses back to a more natural setting and a more natural feeling.
Yeah, when I first played here, I can remember the 5th and the 6th, which are just behind us this way, just dense forest all the way down the left, and then I came here one year and a lot of that had gone, and it felt like a completely different place.
Yeah. So Rob, you know, we very much say that, you know, links, you know, we would be of the opinion that links are not, you know, one's not better than the other. It's very much beauty, you know, as with all golf courses, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it's, you know, you might have a favourite style. If I had to press you, would it be inland or links?
I'm surprising myself here. I think because I would now go inland, and I've done that mainly because in the last couple of years I've got more interest in photography and how courses and holes look, and it's very difficult to photograph links course. You know, you're lower down, and a lot of the holes, dare I say it, can look very similar. Yeah. Many inland courses have unique holes that are so easily identifiable as that course only, and that's a real joy. And you can go around Hankley here, go to the 7th, and that could only be the 7th at Hankley, for example. So I think I'm veering just on the side of inland, but if I had to stop going to the links, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, and obviously, Jez, you came out very much in favour of links, and for me, it's interesting. I think probably inland is, you know, I've got more appreciation for inland golf for all the reasons, Rob, you talk about. If you really pressed me on it, probably depend on which side of the bed I got out of. But and it's interesting, Jez, when you sort of say you often, you know, ask what your favourite course is, and for me, I have to say, well, my favourite links is, and it's a very, very personal thing, is Royal Dornoch. My favourite inland course is Sunnydale, and then when you press me on Sunnydale, I'd say, well, if I'm playing well, I'd like to go and play the new course because I think it's a better test of golf. If I'm not playing so well, but I'm just wanting a great day out, I'll go and play the old. It's an incredible, charming course. But there's never any right and wrong answers. That's the great thing, isn't it, about golf courses and about these lists. It's all a matter for discussion, preferably over a pint of something or a glass of something. And, you know, you begin to appreciate different viewpoints and you begin to see the beauty of different courses. And that's then, you know, going out and playing as wide a variety of courses as you can. But these are the debates that keep, you know, our rankings going. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Maybe ask us a question below. We'll endeavour to answer all the questions, or send us in a question on social media, or on Twitter, on our Facebook pages. We're always interested to hear views from golfers who are keen to know more about course rankings, have got their opinions. And I say we don't expect everybody to agree with us. Far from it. It's a good discussion. It's a good debate. So let us know your views on golf courses. What do you prefer? Do you prefer inland or links? Which are your favourite golf courses? If you're from overseas, if you don't live in GBNI, tell us. If you were coming to the UK or to GBNI, what type of golf course are you coming to play? Is it one of our famous storied historic links, or is it one of the inland courses that we have, very famous inland courses we have in GBNI? So say all part of the debate. Share your opinions, share your views with us. Give us a thumbs up on this video if you're watching on YouTube. But for now, from the Senior Top 100 panel, it's goodbye.